Welcome to Weekly Pulse. I'm Mackenzie Salmon. This week, some shocking news out of Florida. Not only is one of the game's best tight ends coming out of retirement, he's going to be reunited with his favorite pro passer. And then we're talking about the NFL draft. I talk exclusively with top prospects like Chase Young, Tua Tagovailoa, and Henry Ruggs. Find out how they're preparing for the virtual draft and which NFL players they compare their skill sets to. Let's roll.
After a year away from football, one of the league's most dominant and fun-loving players is coming back. Yes, Rob Gronkowski is coming back to football, and he's joining Tom Brady in Tampa Bay after the Patriots and the Buccaneers agreed to a trade on Tuesday afternoon. Gronkowski still has to pass a physical, but if that all goes through, then we'll see the reunion in Tampa, and all indications are that it will. It'll be interesting to see what kind of player Rob Gronkowski is now. When he was at his prime, he was one of the most physically dominant and imposing players. But the last several years of his career, he definitely battled a lot of injuries. Multiple back injuries, surgeries, knee injuries, elbow injuries, and the game had just broken him down mentally, physically, and he wasn't having fun anymore. But he always said that if his passion for the game returned, he would as well. And so now, after a year away, it appears that that passion is back, and he's joining Brady. And now it means more weapons to go around for Brady, as he's got Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, and now Rob Gronkowski, as he tries to continue the magic in another location. For USA Today Sports, this is Mike Jones, and that's what I'm here.
And when it comes to who's going number one at the wide receiver position, there's a lot of people talking about you, Judy Ruggs. Why should you be the first guy taken off the board? You're smiling.
I feel like I need to be but I feel like I should be the first receiver off the board just because the things I can do with the ball. I'm always looking to score. It doesn't matter how many guys, around me or whatever, but I always have the same mindset no matter what.
And you've mentioned before how important technique is at the wide receiver position. Can you explain, kind of do like Deshaun Watson did to the reporters, and explain why raw speed and talent isn't enough to be a complete wide receiver in the NFL?
Raw speed, it can work for a lot of people, but in the NFL, a lot of guys are smarter than your average college player. They're gonna play off. They're gonna play smart. They refuse to get beat deep. And if speed is the only thing you can really offer, it's going to be a tough time in the league. And I feel like a lot of people know that, but it's easier to kind of explain than, because it's your prototype and what type of body you have. But being a bigger receiver is probably the more exciting fit.
One draft evaluator had 27 wide receivers with a top 3 round grade, and he said it was the deepest class ever. Do you think that's true?
I do think it's true. I do agree on that.
Why is this draft class so special?
Because in this draft class, you got receivers that can do it all. You got big receivers that move like little guys. You got little guys that play real big. Yep. Receivers are great hands. You got the fast guys. You have every category of receiver that you need. You got it in this draft class, and that's why I'm so honored to be a part of it, because this is very historic. Not many, draft classes have be stacked at one position like this one.
I mean, it's no secret that you're really fast. I want to know, when was the first time you realized you had all this speed?
Probably Little League. When I first started playing, I was definitely afraid to get hit. So I used to always just run, and I used to just run like straight to the sideline and then straight up the field. So I used to, just beat guys at angles like that. And that's when I kind of realized I was just, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm one of the fastest out.
So you didn't have to do any training for that. It just kind of came natural for you to be super fast.
In a way it did, but I did a lot of training with my dad. He made me run hills, run stairs, a lot of the different leg workouts when I was younger.
Yeah. And going back to the draft coming up, I know a lot of people have talked about the Chiefs willing to trade up for you. What would it be like for you to be able to play your rookie year for the defending Super Bowl champs and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that must be crazy to think about.
Yeah, that's definitely something that even opened my eyes. You know, if I was to get that chance, you know, of course I would love it to be just surrounded by other, you know, other speed guys that are just, it just makes you feel faster. You know, when you're just around guys that got speed like that, and you know, the talent that they have over there is unreal.
Yeah, I want to know who I would have to bet on in a race between you and Tyreek Hill. Who should I choose?
Of course, I'm gonna say me. I'm gonna say me, but
You?
you know, that's one thing that we can only, you know, if we can line up. That's the only time we can see it.
Yeah. And when it comes to your running abilities, do you think some people think you're just a deep ball threat and not a complete receiver, or do you feel at all underrated at all?
Well, I definitely do, you know, because a lot of guys they try to say, you know, that I'm just a speed guy, or you know, I only can run or do this and do that. I'm not a complete guy, but I feel like I'm a complete receiver that does everything, and my tape shows it.
Do you think you're one of the best wide receivers in this class?
Definitely.
Going back to the Tyreek Hill, I know a lot of people want to compare you to him. Would you say he's the closest pro in comparison to you, or is there anyone you try to emulate your game after?
I mean, I don't want to say I have one guy that I just model everything behind. I kind of different dab and take from some of everybody.
Talking a little bit about the season, obviously there's a good chance that a part of the season could be played with no fans, and with it being your rookie year, how do you feel like that environment's going to affect your game if you were to play with no fans in the stands?
You know, once you're lined up and you're across from somebody, then you gotta go out and give it your best, regardless of what's going on. But you know, the fans, they'll probably just add that, you know, that extra intensity, that extra thrill, you know, just give you chills before the game. And that's one thing that's definitely going to be missed. But regardless of if they're there or not, then the competition's still going to be the same.
Yeah. Is there anything you're going to miss the most about playing for Bama? Going back to the fans, how many fans you guys always play in front of.
That too. But definitely just the brotherhood and the family that I developed, you know, on the University of Alabama's campus.
Yeah. And now you're here with us on behalf of Old Spice. They're donating $320,000 to United Way. So tell me a little bit about that relationship you have with them and about what they're doing.
Well, it's I'm excited to be, you know, partnered with Old Spice. You know, just like you said, they are, you know, donating $320,000 just to United Way for underprivileged guys and their families, and that's just on behalf of, you know, the rookies around the league, the upcoming rookies from the draft, and that's just pretty much a way to help us kickstart, you know, in our communities and helping us be the best version of ourselves going into our professional careers, and that's you know, that's something that I'm definitely excited about. You know, I'm glad to be partnered with them, and that's, you know, they're big on, you know, giving back and contributing to the community. So that's something that I'm definitely excited to, you know, be a part of.
So I know there's a good possibility of you being drafted to the Redskins. A lot of people have talked about that. Have you had any conversations with Coach Rivera at all?
Oh, yeah. I definitely had conversations with Coach Rivera. A lot of the times it wouldn't be too much about ball, it'd be a lot about my family, where I grew up, you know, what my parents do, my sister, just family stuff. We'll definitely dive in a little bit on football, me, and that's just really me asking him about really, you know, his past, you know, his whole journey leading up to becoming the coach he is today. So that's really how our conversations have been.
In your mind, I mean, what would it be like to play for his defense? Because I know he's very defensive-minded coach.
Yeah, it'll definitely be real good to, I guess, if you're a DN and playing in that system. Obviously, they have Coach Del Rio. He's coached some of the great ones, Julius Peppers, Von Miller, so Khalil Mack. So he's had some guys that are in the same position that I'm in. So, you know, it would definitely be an honor to play for Coach, you know, Del Rio as well. Just seeing how many, you know, Hall of Fame players that he's coached.
And Dwayne Haskins, your college teammate, who could be a future teammate, has he given you any advice about as far as the draft goes, or
Yeah,
even with the Redskins in general?
yeah. He just saying, he told me it's a grind on that next level, and just when I come in, just be like a sponge and be ready to, just to, take in, everything I can, because it's ultimately going to help me, with that year, my rookie year. So I'm gonna take those, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Is there a pass rusher or a player you try to emulate your game after?
Um, yeah. I would definitely take pieces from Khalil Mack, Julius Peppers, Von Miller. I would definitely watch Chandler Jones a lot. And I would watch Nick and Joey too, just because they did the same technique that I use in college. So that just proves to me that it works on the next level as well.
Are you the perfect creative player in Madden?
Oh, man. And that's what I'm not going to answer that. But
You're
that's
laughing. You're not answering it.
That's what not just because I hear it all the time. Just every picture I post, somebody says that.
I guess another question I have for you. I think something that's going to be huge this upcoming season. Obviously, it's not like we've seen before, where an NFL season could be without fans for a good chunk of the season. What are your thoughts on the idea of playing games without fans, especially for your rookie season?
It would add difficulty to playing, I feel like, because in college, Ohio State, we had one of the biggest stadiums in the country. So, when I would go out on the field on them Saturdays, I would be playing for fans, like literally, like when I'm on the field and I'm pumping them up and they actually get loud. Yeah, like it's a mental thing, like, it helps, when your fans are there. It just brings everything back together. It's like making a play and everything is silent, you know. And if we don't have fans, it's gonna be just like practice. We might as well just scrimmage.
Well, I know you're on behalf here with us on behalf of Old Spice. They're donating $320,000 to United Way. Talk a little bit about what that's for and why they're
Yeah,
doing that.
yeah. Just so basically, giving back to the giving back is just something that's a real big part of me, I would say.
Yep.
So, partnering with Old Spice, hearing what they're doing, that was definitely a big topic, and why I wanted to partner with Old Spice. So basically, they're donating money to the United Way for underprivileged families, and it's just something that I wanted to be a part of, and how I want to start my career with giving back. So I feel like it's real cool.
I mean, you're listed as a linebacker, but I think a lot of people would argue you're kind of positionless in a sense. So I want to ask you what you would consider yourself, and what do you bring to a defense?
I just bring like something completely different than most people to the game, just because how I feel like I can affect the game on all three levels. I feel like I can rush a passer just as well as I can cover. So I feel like I bring a lot.
So do you get more joy out of sacking a QB or stuffing a running back in the hole?
Oh man. Honestly, it's probably about even.
About even?
Yeah, about even.
Yeah, and I know most mock drafts have you projected as a top 5 pick, but does it matter to you necessarily where you go, considering you're so flexible kind of at your position?
Yeah, I don't think it really matters. I feel like I can fit into any scheme, any defense a coach runs, which is, I guess, a good problem to have. Yeah, so I guess it doesn't really matter, honestly, to me.
I want to know, what does Madden do with you this year? Are they going to have to make a new position for you so you can play all over?
Yeah, I don't know. Figure something out, because I don't think you could just put me in one position. That wouldn't really be fair to me.
What are some of the goods that have come through? I mean, you had injuries, you had to go through multiple surgeries in college, what are some of the goods that came from the bads that you dealt with along that way, and then now as well?
Man, when you go through adversity, you learn who you are as a person. You have a lot of alone time with yourself, because it's really you doing that process by yourself. You can have the support from your family, you can have support from everyone else, but man, the biggest thing I see while people go through like rehab and trying to get back into what they love is a lot of them they don't try to have perspective for everyone else. So I mean, I see a lot of people complaining about their situation they're in and whatnot. I mean, the situation that I've been put in, I can't change it, So I mean, why have a bad attitude about it?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a reflection on how I guess how you train yourself to be. So just try to have a positive attitude about all of those things and believe that it'll work out in the best. But to really answer your question, I would say with every bad there is a good. For me, it's been in a sense where I had a lot of people reach out. I mean, at the same time, it's been people that I look up to. I listen to their music. You got like big time pastors. You got big time music guys just telling you that they support you and whatnot. So I would say that's been pretty good for me.
Gotcha. When I was talking to Trent Dilfer about you, he says that for you understand that the journey is just as, if not more important than the destination. How did you develop that kind of mindset? Because it's really hard. It's easy to look ahead and be like, okay, this is where I want to go. And you don't really look at all the steps along the way. And you want to skip through all the process just to get to that destination. Where did you learn that was the best approach? And how do you maintain that focus and not get ahead of yourself?
Yeah, I would say it started from home. It started with my dad. My dad kind of helped me throughout my entire life with that. I believe that hard work isn't something that you're born with. It's something that's either created. It's something that you're wanting to do. You're longing to do because you see others as examples, of hard work, and you kind of emulate their image of what hard work means to you. And so for me, that's how it's been my entire life with my dad. He's kind of helped shape and mold me to the man that I am today. And that, I would say that goes to say that, man, a lot of my success is not just mine, but it's his. And then with the support and help of my mom throughout those years. Yeah.
What did they tell you as you were, obviously everybody dreams of going to the combine and performing. You see as a kid, you watch the throwing, the running and everything like that. And not to be able to take part in that, you didn't convey any dismay or frustration there that week at the podium when you're talking about it. Right now, you even, you don't sound like you were bitter about any of that stuff. How did you approach the combine going through that, knowing like, man, like I really would like to show what I can do, but I can't?
Yeah, given the circumstances, I understood I couldn't. I wasn't going to be able to because I wasn't cleared medically. So for me, I just wanted to go over there. My goal was to win the combine through my medical. And that's how I took it. I ran with it in that sense. I prepared for my medical. I knew they're gonna poke and prod me. So I understood what I was getting into, and I knew I wasn't gonna be doing anything else. So that for me, that was my big day, and I was just focused on that. Gotcha. And as well as the interviews.
Yeah. Well, then I imagine that you got grilled pretty well in those interviews. And in the FaceTimes leading up to the draft, what has that process been like for you? What have teams wanted to know about you?
Yeah, man, I wouldn't say the teams wanted to know that much about me because I believe they already knew as much as they wanted to, asking coaches, asking elementary teachers, asking high school teachers, asking everyone. But I would say the process, man, has been totally different, but I mean, it's only due to COVID. And man, I would say this is the times we're living in, though. This we got to learn to adapt to change, and we got to learn how to move forward with all of this. So it's been different, just a lot of Zoom calls, getting on the phone with teams, communicating with them in that sense. But man, it's definitely hard, especially when there's connection failures, and everything has to be perfect. Whereas when you're just in the room with them, I mean, everything works smoothly.
University of Wisconsin Badger, Jonathan Taylor joining us here on USA Today Sports. I'm Ralphie Aversa. All right, you're from Jersey, Salem to be exact, South Jersey. Eagles fan growing up. Who was your team growing up?
So growing up, my team was the Texans because they had Arian Foster, who was my favorite running back. And then recently, South Jersey, Glassboro graduate from Glassboro High School, Corey Clement, was drafted to the Eagles. And then I started recently, tuning into the Eagles, watching them, because Corey Clement was a guy who I looked up to when I was in 8th grade. He was a senior in high school, running all over South Jersey, and that was kind of my inspiration going into high school.
Certainly, with these playbooks, and I think this dates back to actually a number of years ago when the run pass option started becoming more prevalent in the NFL. You started kind of hearing these things, maybe the running back isn't as important. Maybe you don't need to spend a high draft pick on a running back. Maybe you don't need to pay a running back. And then you look at Zeke getting paid. You looked at what Henry did with the Titans last year in the playoffs. You look at now McCaffrey getting paid as well. For you, how do you feel as a running back about that position going into the league here?
Yeah, I think the position has evolved. I know a lot of people use the word, devalued, but I think the position has evolved. You look at, the Christian McCaffreys, you look at the Saquon Barkleys, you look at the Ezekiel Elliott. A lot of those guys, all of them, have made plays through the air, whether it be screen, in the slot, out wide. So the position is definitely evolving from just, receiving the ball behind the line of scrimmage. So I think that's the biggest thing people need to understand, is that the position is evolving as far as what you're asked to do. And that's the only thing, is guys need to make sure that they're, an all-around back and able to make plays behind the line of scrimmage or through the air.
You certainly, you could do it all, but you were known, I think, more than anything else as a big-time runner, as a Badger. The numbers you put up were astronomical. Help me try to understand something here, though, because these numbers were record-setting these 3 consecutive years, yet they seem to be somewhat underpublicized, or I don't want to use the word underappreciated, because you would know if they're appreciated more than I would. But is there something to that? Was there an expectation that because you were a Badger and because they have this great pedigree of O-lines and running backs that it was almost expected? Was that it, or is there something else that I'm missing here?
So I don't think it was expected, but there is a long line tradition of, Badgers bringing in outstanding running backs, and, me just carrying that torch adds to that tradition. So people kind of weren't shocked that someone was adding on to the tradition. But like I said, the next level, it's really not all about running the ball. It's about being able to keep the quarterback clean. It's being able to, make plays downfield, catching 40-yard passes, catching 15-yard passes. So I think, going up to the next level, that's what they're looking at. They're saying, is this guy an all-around back? And like I said, thankfully to Coach Chris, he was able to change the scheme up a bit this year. So I was able to put that on tape for my junior year.
That's it from us at Weekly Pulse, your heartbeat to what's trending in sports.
Hey sports fans, if you want to see more videos like this, check out some of our other ones right here. And if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and stick around for more from USA Today Sports.